is doing well. For those in the US, happy early Thanksgiving. I am so grateful and thankful for all of you guys watching me, and I have so much gratitude for being able to share my story and for all my friends and my family. It's just, one of those holidays when not everything goes great, but you have to find little things to be happy about. Even if it's hard, finding the beauty in the day, whether it's a cloud, whether it's a flower, whether it's a butterfly, whether it's just having a good cup of coffee or a cup of tea. Oh, so what's been going on? I have been the most spastic, wouldn't you know, I'm a spaz person lately. My doctor has said I could take 1 milligram to 2 milligrams on top of my Valium on top of my baclofen and occasional Robaxin. It's just whoa. I don't know if I'm overdoing it because I haven't had a UTI. Yes, UTIs are terrible when you have ALS. It can cause a lot of spasticity. So since I have predominantly upper motor neuron ALS, the spasticity can be really terrible. So generally I'm a little bit weaker, but I can still walk, which is a blessing. Yesterday, I almost fell. My husband grabbed me by the shoulders and pushed, and it's like, these muscles, my shoulders are hurting. I guess I'm losing a little bit of muscles. I'm like, please grab my trunk, not my arms. But thankfully he was there. I would have fallen into the couch, so it wouldn't have been that bad. So that's about, it's kind of, the drool. Ugly things about ALS. You can start drooling more. I don't know if it's because I still have Halloween. I can't find my nail polish remover. I need to go, order it and do that. But it's like one of those annoying things. I have like 3 bottles of nail remover. Nail polish remover, but where they are, I have no idea. I think I've just been busy. I can probably find it. So went and been able to spend time with my family, and I had my birthday last week, which was wonderful. My husband took us to a restaurant and got spoiled by my in-laws and my stepfather, so just felt special. It's kind of still going through, it's kind of grief is one of those weird things. My sister died last year before my birthday, 10 days before. And still just, even though this is my second birthday, she hasn't been here. Still that emotional stuff, it's kind of like one of those things. My cousin asked for pictures of my parents, and I realized, some of the pictures, my little sister and I are the only ones left of our immediate family growing up, or what they call it, the origin family. Just kind of sad. So I know that a lot of people in the US with Thanksgiving coming up, not everybody has the family that they're talking to. Holidays can be difficult on people, difficult for those of us with ALS. I mean, I can't put up a tree and do everything that I used to be able to do. I'm thankful I have family that help me do things to keep traditions. But it's really hard when you're grieving the loss of people or the loss of abilities. It's very difficult when families have divides and family members aren't there. My best friend, her mother, who is my second mother, is very close to death, and thankfully we'll be able to have her home from the care home and be able to spend a holiday with her. It's like death of parents, whether both my parents are deceased, but one parent dies, it seems like siblings can do that. You know, sometimes parents, you know, with kids, there can be divisions, you know, substance abuse, that kind of thing, distance. You know, it's just like the holidays. You know, you have all these holidays and you just can't get a lot of expectations. It's never going to be perfect. Sometimes perfect moments happen, that's great. But, you know, life is one of those things that'll throw things at you. Like having ALS, and I can't guarantee every day is going to be a good day. You know, my function goes up and down, up and down, up and down. If I push it too hard, then I'm not able to do a lot. I'm just blessed I'm still here, and I'm blessed I can do what I can do. But I don't put a lot of expectations on it. You know, I can't. You can only do what you can do, and appreciate what you do have. You know, whether it's memories of someone in the past, whether it's just being able to eat. You know, there's so many people that are having such a difficult time. You know, but thankfully, I mean, if you don't have anyone, there's restaurants open. You know, you can go, any Denny's in the US is open on Thanksgiving. Other restaurants are. You know, I know that people can, if they miss someone, they can be upset. Just don't, remember to take a breath and know that no matter what, things work out. And don't put those expectations on yourself to find disappointment. Because you can, you know, hope for things. You can, you know, just putting those expectations or just falling into the, I want this, you can't do that. You can only hope. Small steps, you know. I know there's a lot of people that are really angry right now. There's been a lot of stuff going on. You know, bless the people that are suffering through wars right now. I mean, I can't even imagine. My heart goes out to everyone. So much going on in the world. But people are angry. You know, there's a lot of anger. I mean, when I was younger, overcame a lot and lived on the energy of anger. I'm going to prove, I'm going to do this. And guess what? That's not good for you. You know, it's like being angry. I mean, even with the diagnosis, you know, oh gosh, I've got ALS. I'm going to die. You know, I really, you know, I was talking to my husband the other day. It's like, well, you lived a lot longer than the doctors expected. It's like, yeah, I wouldn't have guessed to still be here and still be able to do things. It's quite shocking, you know. Thank God, thank everything that is out there that I'm still here. You know, it's truly an amazing thing. But people can be very angry about getting diagnosed. People can be very angry you can't do things. Relationships, you can be very angry. It's okay to feel the emotions. You can't deny emotions, but you can't cling on to them and hold on to that anger or hold on to that disappointment. That's only going to hurt you. You know, it's like, it's okay to feel it. With anger, you have to be careful. You can't throw it on other people. That's not fair to them. It's kind of like, you know, you don't want to, if you have a history of trauma, you know, just dump it on everybody because that's hard on people. So take a deep breath. I was in a store to pick up something and I saw these napkins and it said Happy Thanksgiving and Family Drama. I, you know, don't have as many family members left. There's been a lot of people that passed away. And a lot of my family is around the country. You know, I don't have a huge amount of family in Texas. My husband, my in-laws, and I have a brother-in-law with my sisters that passed children, but I think they're going to Utah. So I have a good friend and we have a Thanksgiving. You know, sometimes when you don't have family or you don't have things, you make the family out of friends. And they say Happy Friendsgiving. It's like, no, it's more family. So my friend I've had, my best friend since 4th grade, we do Thanksgiving together. And it's interesting how everything changes. I mean, our kids are now, some of them are adults and, you know, they're all bringing their dishes. and her mother is very close to passing. So she's bringing her home, and we're going to celebrate her. You know, it's like my second mother. So she was a very strong person that really helped me when I was growing up. So it's sad. I mean, it's a sad thing, but gotta take the precious moments, you know? I mean, I think I have accepted my limitations, even though it's frustrating. It's so frustrating. Today I was doing little things around the house, and my drooling has gotten worse. So, you know, it is my allergy season, ragweed. I hate ragweed. But thankfully the antihistamines dried up, and I have a whole vitamin regimen, you know, D vitamins, B complex. I take a little extra folate, vitamin C, melatonin. I also take cod liver oil. And I started taking turmeric with black pepper. And I had these little chewies, but with the drooling, my drooling was yellow. It's like, oh, there's so many ways ALS humiliates you, you know? It's turning and doing things and little things that are kind of gross, and being a vain person, that's hard. Thankfully, I have learned makeup techniques to make my face look more even though part of it's fallen. Annoying. I've lost muscle in part of my face, so, but you can't tell, you know, the lovely things about makeup. And thankfully I can still do it, though lining my eyeliner, not as much, nope, wonky. And that's something that's kind of like, you know, I used to, you know, I used to be an artist, though I haven't put out a lot of work in a long time, but now I do a lot of cleanup. I try to do something and it's a lot of cleanup. And it's frustrating, but at least I can still do things. I mean, you know, it's like the little things. You've got to appreciate the little things and just not put a lot of expectations of stuff, you know? It's just, yeah, that's a hard one, because I don't know if it's like an aspect of control when you expect everything, and when things don't turn out, you feel bad. Or that, because, you know, it's like people are like, oh, you know, it's like, I don't have control over my life. I don't. I can choose to do things and take steps that will help it. You know, I lead by compassion now. You know, it's like, that is something that I found that helped my anger, is treating people with compassion, helping others, doing things that are right, and, you know, turning that around and being compassionate to myself. Giving myself that little extra, like right now, it's eggnog. Hey, I need extra calories, so eggnog's not bad. But, you know, just the little things that, you know, having a nice bath, or listening to the music, taking care of yourself, you know, it's finding the practices that help you. You know, I pray, I do meditation, and, you know, I try to spend time with people that I really care about. I like to talk, so that's a blessing. Oh, it's been kind of rough. I went and to vote, and there were a bunch of people there that were like directing traffic and this and that, and it kind of spooked me. It's kind of like a little, and they were all holding signs. It was a little bit too military-like. I am from a military family, so, you know, I recognize that. So I don't know, paramilitary, and then apparently one of the candidates someone grabbed her by the shirt and yelled in her face, he'd never vote for her, and then pushed her and she fell down. And it's just all this screaming. It's like, I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. It's just shocking. So talked to my counselor, and it's like one of those things where, you know, you open a box and trauma comes out, and you know, sometimes when you talk about things that happen in your life, you have to be careful because you can re-traumatize yourself. Though I have to be appreciative of friends that I've had for a long time that really helped me. So, what a blessing. I don't know. It's just that, and the grief is hard. So, even though my sister died, I mean, she died 10 days before my birthday last year. So, it's my second birthday, she wasn't here. But you just miss people. You know, you just miss their laughter. You miss being able to call. You know, my sister was one of my to-go people. You know, we were buddies. You know, thankfully I have my little sister, and she's my buddy too, and I love her intensely. And my nieces and nephews. So I mean, you know, it's like I have an old friend that said, you know, what did I say what I wanted to be when I grew up? You know, an aunt. So I have like 22 nieces and nephews. So that's a blessing. Oh, Christmas. You know, it's like this inflation. I know the United States hasn't been as bad as other countries, especially down south. I mean, poor Venezuelans and other Central Americans and South Americans. You know, in Europe, I know, oh my gosh, England with the gas or heating prices, you know, oh, it's just hard. But it's like they say that here in the States, the cost of things have gone up 14% from last year. And, you know, it's kind of like going out to eat, you know, don't do it as much. And groceries, I mean, I found a turkey, and it's, you know, Thanksgiving, and they're trying to do things. Oh, you can get Thanksgiving for $25. So I found a turkey, and I got a turkey for $4.61. So got it, threw it in the freezer, and my husband and I will cook it, I don't know, for Christmas. So just, it's kind of cute. So we're doing, you know, our family, my best friend is like my, one of my sisters. My father used to call her his fourth daughter. And her mother would call me like her daughter. And, yeah, it was kind of, she's Filipino, so it was kind of like, they look at her like, huh? But, oh man, you know, you never want a Filipino to say sheet. Sometimes when you were little, it was embarrassing. But I absolutely love the Filipino culture. There's so much kindness and good people. So, I don't know where I was going with that. Sorry, you guys are having my tired rambles. You know, just, we are like family. So our kids are growing, you know, some of our children are adults, and it's kind of sweet that they're bringing dishes. So it's kind of, you know, when things change, and that's the one constant in life is change. You know, when you're having a bad time, don't worry, things do change. When you're having a good time, it's going to be okay. It may change, but things are cyclic. Things will change, good, bad, boring, exciting, too much, not enough. It all changes. Well, that's one thing you can count on. You know, it will change. It can be cold comfort, but it will change. And someone that has like a neurological disorder like ALS, things change, and sometimes it's really sad. ALS is a beast. It's an ugly, ugly disease. Even though I'm a slow progressor, and yes, I do have ALS. I have been to multiple doctors, neurologists, neuromuscular doctors, and I do have it. Just slow. You know, didn't expect to be here. Still here. Thankful because I have an 11-year-old. I don't know, Christmas. I already did my little sister's kids. You know, I like to, because of the United States and, you know, all the propaganda that's going around, people dividing people, people getting upset. It's kind of ridiculous. I've, kind of the gifts I give to kids, I like to encourage critical thinking. I live in Texas, and even this was going on with the school board really upset me because one of the candidates wanted to fire all the counselors and bring in clergy, which upset me. Not that I have any problem with religious beliefs, but after the pandemic, you really need to have kids, need help. There's a lot of people that are having trouble. And if you had a high school student that got raped and, would say you're a sinner, pray. A kid that's really struggling with depression and suicidal, well, you're a sinner, pray. That really upset me. Though there are federal laws that prevent that, though I live in Texas and look at the border. They're defying federal laws, which is really upsetting and awful. So if the people that did get elected, there was only about 1.5% of people in my county. I live in Houston. It's one of the largest cities in the United States, but people don't vote. We're in Australia. They were, you have to vote. It's a civic duty. Here in the States, if you don't use your voice, we're going to lose it. So please, if you can, register to vote and vote. Even the little votes, it counts. You have to, they say, well, things won't change. You have to. I mean, think about just having ALS and how much the ALS advocates have made a change. I mean, think about it. When I got diagnosed in 2019, they had gotten it down to 6 months till you could get SSDI, Social Security Disability Insurance, and Medicare. And by the strong advocation by IMALS, the ALS Association, Team Gleason, and other advocates in ALS, or we call them PALS, people with ALS, advocated. And now at diagnosis, you can get, there's no waiting period. Which, I mean, for me, of course, I still have people questioning, do you have ALS? It's like, please, I would rather not have it. Thank you very much. But I had the verification, had to verify and do everything like that. And they pulled my case to make sure. And it's like, yes, it is. I don't know. I'm just glad that people don't have to wait like that. So advocacy helps. And your voice, no matter what country you live in, if you have the ability to vote, vote. If you don't vote, you have a small majority make a decision. Like, if they do try to fire the counselors, I am going to sue, because that is the worst thing you can do for our children. It's not right. I mean, yes, I have religious beliefs. I have things. I want my child to get that taught in my house. I don't want to judge or have anyone else think that their children are their children and they can choose. I don't have my child in a religious school for a reason. And I really don't want to send her to public school and have somebody's Christian nationalist beliefs, having any kind of nationalism. I don't care if you're an atheist. I don't care if you're that. Nationalism is a bad thing. So if you're a nationalist, I'm terribly sorry. If you're a Christian nationalist, I'm terribly sorry. I don't agree with you. Forcing religion of one sort on many is not right. Whether there's families that may be Jewish, there are families that may be atheist, there's families that may be Muslim, there are families that may be Buddhist, there are families that may be other religions. And you can't force one religion down. I mean, right now in the state of Texas, they put the 10 Commandments. There's nothing wrong with the 10 Commandments, but I have a line where I want to be the person to teach my child, not someone else. And so that got me really mad. So see, I've been mad too. You know, there's a lot of people mad. I've been mad too. You know, if I was actually thinking of moving out of Texas. You know, it's kind of like, if that happened, you know, it's like, what culture are you putting your child in? And no, I'm going to still go around and encourage people to vote. And, ooh, I got to be in the human library. I became a human book. That was really neat. I probably talked to about 120 to 150 young people. Gen Z, they got it. It was interesting that they found my story fascinating. So, you know, with having the grief that I've been having and all the issues I've been having, telling my story over and over again actually felt kind of empowering. I was invited back next year, and it's like, yeah. You know, it's the one thing you don't have guarantee when you have ALS. Will I be able to do it? Will I be able to talk? I did record my voice, so that's kind of cool. I have an electronic voice in case I lose my voice. Yeah. Being upper motor neuron, that's probably not going to happen, which I imagine when I go, it'll probably just be respiratory failure. You know, it's interesting. You know, I mentioned this probably the last video. I saw my pulmonologist. He's like, you know that you're going to, yeah, it's like, yeah, I know. Thank you though. I mean, a lot of people think that I'm going to suddenly be okay and everything's going to be okay. And it's like, no, ALS is not one of those ones that you're just okay. It's just, you know, one of those things. It's like, you know, I talk about change being the only thing that's permanent, which is true. But every day is a little bit of change, you know, and that's okay. You know, it's kind of like I have to appreciate each day and everybody in my life, because it's easier to do that than to concentrate on all the things I've lost. And it's there, and I realize it, and I feel it, and I know the reality of it. I mean, heck, I'm a retired nurse. In fact, you know, my whole nursing career, you know, I did a lot of different areas of nursing. That's the one good thing about being a nurse. You can always choose and change. From ER to ICU to PIC, or, you know, the step-down units, SICU, ER, pediatrics, med-surg, you know, from working the units, you know, and seeing people die and the ways people die in the hospital. You know, at one point I went to hospice and I absolutely loved it. So I know, I've seen people die. I've actually taken care of somebody that has the exact form of ALS I have. And, you know, seeing the cough machine and everything. And, you know, she was C9orf72. So she lost her voice and passed away with her family close. And that was really sad. So who knew that I would get it? You know, it's kind of interesting. You know, I've taken care of a couple of people with ALS. One man, when I did infusion therapy, see, I did a lot of different nursing things. And he couldn't communicate, but his wife, I guess, I don't know, by blinks or something, you know, would communicate. But that poor gentleman, he was trached and he had to get blood draws and IVs and all that stuff. And the poor, I mean, it's kind of like when you have ALS, you have muscle loss and your veins are wiggly, wiggly, wiggly. So generally you're a hard stick. But just seeing how many times that poor man was poked until they called us always broke my heart. You know, it's like, you don't want people to suffer. See, that's, you know, that's my, when nursing, some people say coughing, you know, the sputum or, you know, the gunk people cough up. Mine was seeing people in pain. I don't like seeing people in pain. I don't like being in pain either, but it's just, you don't want to see people suffer. I don't know. You know, I know with this disease, and with the spasticity I have been having over the past month, I, I used to call people that were really restless before they died the Walking Dead. I know that it's a term. Some people in the final stages of life, when they are agitated, they'll get really agitated and do things. So I'm like the pre-person of that. I hope I don't do that when I'm dying. That's why I'm in therapy. Deal with it so you can deal with it and be okay, because if you don't, it does come out when you're dying. It's hard to see people suffer like that, and especially for their families to see them when they're suffering like that. But I know I can walk, I can do certain things, but I have less stamina and I have generalized weakness. But I'm still doing good. My breathing is really good. Good thing I quit smoking a long time ago. It's just not having the same functional ability. All these people, have a coach and a psychologist, but it's counselor. It's kind of like, okay, well, do you get out and exercise? I'm like, I can walk. I do my physical therapy exercises. I can do some gentle yoga, but I don't have the stamina. I'm not doing the trailblazing, walking around and jogging and doing aerobics. I just can't. I had to be really careful to not overextend myself, because for some reason I think, I'm 10 foot tall and bulletproof, and I'll do things, at a level where I have to realize, back it up. Symptoms with ALS is kind of like surfing. The waves change and you have to adapt and be open to the changes. So whether it's grief, whether it, I haven't had UTIs, I have my little tests. I just have had a lot of things I've been doing, and I do run into, I've had a couple weeks where the spasticity is pretty bad. So that's suffering, it's like, it's not fun. I don't know, choices, I'm trying to keep my, I don't have appetite. So, I'm not only have ALS, I have diabetes, so I have to make sure that I eat. And I don't want to lose weight too fast, because, I've been told that once you start losing weight like that, you can progress fast. It's kind of like, oh. When my insurance changed with my Medicare Advantage plan, I couldn't, one of the hospitals, my primary care doctor stopped carrying the insurance. That hospital system stopped carrying the insurance. And the only doctor I stayed within that plan, because I used to work for that hospital system, and I had a boss that was really mean to me, workplace harassment type stuff, for no reason. I can look at it and see that I had said something to someone, but the cruelty, and yes, nurses do bully nurses. It's an ugly thing, should not happen. Professional respect should be there, but sometimes that happens. I've lived through that. And with the whole thing of knowing the symptoms of, being from a family that has ALS and FTD, when I started having the symptoms and realizing the symptoms, it was, that was like going through the crucible. I survived it. And I think retiring, I know some people try to work to the end. For a nurse, you have to carry, to be employed most of the time, you have to be able to lift 50 pounds. Can't do that. The physical things, it's like, yes, I can still move my hands, I can do that. I can't screw things. Small little things can be difficult. I'm finding a harder time typing on a small phone, because, my husband's like, well, use one of the, little pin things that might help, or, turn it sideways and it'll be bigger. That does help. It's just that, dexterity is not quite the same. Hey, I can still move them. I should be appreciative, right? Oh no, I just feel a lot of generalized weakness now. And, I was lucky to be in the study I was in, and I think it really did prolong my life. So, I think there's a lot of hope for ALS patients, whether you're genetic or you're not, that I think that they are pushing. If the FDA would just fund things and allow, the NIH, there should be bigger grants, from not only the ALS organizations, but I really think, we need to put money into this because it's a rare disease, but the possibilities of finding effective treatments, it could be like diabetes or, COPD, congestive heart failure. It's like there's not a cure there, but there is effective treatment to make it more of a chronic disease versus a terminal disease. I would hope for a cure. Wouldn't that be great? But at least effective treatment. There's 3 drugs. Everyone sees when you have ALS, you see results on particular studies. Someone I saw on one of the forums was saying, oh, can I get Proleukin, which is one of the drugs of a study. And it's like, okay, Proleukin does not make you feel good. It's a chemotherapy drug for cancer. It is it's a immunoglobulin, or I can't say not immunoglobulin. It's a immunology type drug where it reduces inflammation, and in high doses it can cause renal failure and death. It's like even the smaller doses, you don't feel good on it. It's not a pleasant drug, and it's one that you have to be under medical care, and you have to have labs. Jesus, when I was in the study, I was getting some study things. I was getting sticks every week, watching my blood, whether it's the inflammation or whether it's how my body was responding to it. You can be in a study, and as soon as you stop that drug, you can rapidly decline. Besides whether study drugs can kill you, especially, when you're taking a chemotherapy drug, it's like, some people, I want to try this, I want to try that, I want to try this. And it's, I'm lucky that I'm in a large city and I'm a part of a group that is, my ALS clinic is amazing. I'm very blessed for that. But the reality is, ALS is a terminal disease right now. The reality is, around the world, we need more money into studies. These drugs are expensive. These studies are expensive. Whether it's government, whether it's private donations, we need more money into the study and putting drugs into patients and seeing what will make this a chronic disease versus a terminal disease. And if there's possible a cure. Though there's so many different types of ALS. I'm one that has the genetic it's anywhere between 40 to 60% of genetic cases, C9orf72, chromosome 9, toxic RNA, and there's SODI, there's, several more forms of genetic ALS. And there's the people that are sporadic. It's like, hopefully there's a drug that can treat all of us. And I think it's going to happen. I really do. We just need to get more money into the hands of doctors that are, the Healy platform, different funding. It's like, the one that's for Koya. If we can get money to that involves the Proleukin. And if you look at the MDA symposium, they talked about it, Dr. Appel and Dr. Tornhoff. There is hope. There is hope. Things for C9orf72, there are a lot of ones. There's antisense ones that are coming out that may be effective. Unfortunately, Neuron was not approved by the FDA, and some people responded to that. I don't know. We just need to streamline for the United States, the FDA, like they do cancer. It's a rare disease. We just need more money. You know, the ALS Association will grant usually like $1 million. I just wish we could get more money into the studies so we can see, because each of those studies are so expensive. So that's that. I mean, yeah, we're all dealing with inflation. I mean, Christmas is coming. I don't know. It's like they say from November 1st to January 5th, there's something like 27 different holidays around the world. This is the celebration time. And everyone's like, hey, it's celebration. Thankfully, I have most of the Christmas shopping done. You know, I'm not going out and doing that. The flu's going around, so I do a lot of the online stuff. Then you get really paranoid. It's like, no porch pirates. You know, it was interesting. I had my little bit of birthday money, and I saw something in Hobby Lobby I loved, but I didn't want to see the price tag on them. So looked on YouTube. Love YouTube. Saw an idea, got the stuff. I think I can do it. I'll probably burn myself every time I use a glue gun. I do end up burning myself. Terrible. It's kind of like, you know, when I do a project that's really thing, I always bleed. It's like, you know, just something. You know, now it's a little more frequent. I had to be careful. But I'm going to make big jingle bells to hang on the port. Well, I'm not going to hang them, but I'm going to make them. And I was in Home Depot, and they kept scanning the black paint, which was cheap. But the other paint I got was a metallic rose gold, and it was almost $10. And, you know, she scanned it twice, you know, both things for $2.7. I just couldn't, you know, it's just one of those things. It's like, you know, you don't want to steal because that's bad karma. It's like, no, this one's more expensive. Had her scan it right. You know, it's like I had a couple ones like that, and it's like, you know, it's like temptation, but no, I'm not going to do that. I was emptying a bucket and put on the outside hose, and it's like there's lots of bees around. It's so wonderful. Since they're getting, you know, poor little bees are endangered, kinda. But they really like the water. So one was upside down. I kind of turned them up right. It's like I did little things to help. You know, you try to do good things to bring good to you. You try kindness to bring kind things to you. I really think that that's the way to do it. But, you know, no grand Christmas presents this year, you know. It's just one of those things. It's like, you know, between homeowners associations and taxes, it's like, you know, it's like not even going to the grocery store. Though that turkey was a great price, you know. Yay. $4.61. I still can't believe that. The package said $25. It's like, little bits of blessings. See? Blessings comes back. So if you are somebody that's having a lot of expectations for the holiday, put them out. No expectations. Manage your expectations. You know, it's kind of like, you know, when you were, as a married person, before, you know, I was single for many years of my life. I met my husband when I was in my mid-30s. Yeah, I learned not to have expectations going on dates. You know, it's just kind of like, hello. You know, I made more friends than I did, you know, have relationships. But, you know, you give someone basic human trust and you go. But, you know, it's kind of like expectations on relationships, expectations on holidays. Yeah, not a good idea. You know, one step in front of the other if you can still walk. Or hopefully you have a power chair if you can. Enjoy what you have. be open to see what happens. You know, if you're angry, it's okay to be angry, but don't cling to it. You know, I as somebody that did that, and somebody that anger is an energy. You know, I did it to survive, but it hurt me a lot too, and it hurts others. So try to find anywhere you can be centered. You know, there are ways that you can think about when you had some place when you had where you were okay and you felt calm and centered. You know, think about what principles you have, or what is your life mantra. What are your principles? You know, whether it's 10 Commandments, the Four Noble Truths, the Eightfold Path, the Golden Rule, the Quran, the Torah, and who knows what other. And there's so many religions and so many things. Wherever you have your principles, live by them. And if you have boundaries that have been crossed, or you're feeling in a way that, even for yourself, when you have ALS and you have to suddenly change the way you expected your life, you know, nobody knows. I mean, whether you have chronic disease or you have cancer or you have something that could be terminal. You know I have 100% terminal disease. Sucks. I don't know how long I'll live. I'm lucky to still be here 4 years later. I'm lucky to be able to talk. I'm lucky I'm making this video, not drooling. I know there was a guy that once was driving and he slammed on the brakes. In the back window, there was a Kleenex box. The Kleenex box came forward, hit in the back of the neck, just the right spot, and he died. I've known people that got hit by 18-wheelers and lived. You don't know how long you have. You can mourn the life that you thought you had, whether you have a terminal disease, you have a relationship that ended, a death in a family. You can deal with the emotions, because, you know, I've been dealing with grief, I've been dealing with fear, I've been dealing with, you know, upset about, you know, school boards, worried, but you have to find that place inside yourself where you feel calm. It's there. It really is there. You know, whether it's a total acceptance, you know, it's like I totally accepted that, yes, I have this. They always saw 3 different groups of doctors. They all agree. I didn't choose to have this. You know, I can, you know, it's the genetic thing. I'm glad my baby sister got tested for C9orf72 and she doesn't have it, which is wonderful though. You know, it's like I'm her only living origin family member. You know, it's going to be hard when I go for her. And that makes me sad. So I try to make sure that we talk, we spend the time, we make the memories, because that's what really matters. You know, it really, really does. We never know how long we're going to have, you know. You could get up and get hit by a bus. You know, you could be somewhere, I'm in Texas, you could be somewhere and someone gets angry at you and shoots you. Just enjoy what you do have. Feel the emotions that are happening. You know, try to live in the present. You know, we can think about what we did have. You know, I can think about all the things I was able to do and I can't do now. I can get really sad about it, or I can be happy about what I can do. and what I can accomplish, which is still significant. I mean, even if it's not the greatest, even if it's not the thing, it still matters, You still matter no matter what situation you're in. You're special. I know people don't feel it, but they are. Life is precious. Enjoy it while you have it. That's my message. And I'm thankful on this Thanksgiving that I still have life. So that's what's going on. Just kind of gotta express this, holidays are hard for people. Find the joy, even if it's just being alone and being happy. I'm glad I can still chew and eat food, though I don't have appetite much, but thank gosh, there's eggnog. I love eggnog. Hey, it's got calories too. So, there goes my hemoglobin A1C. No. I'm taking my medicine, I'm taking my insulin, so I'm doing better. It's just finding the spot. I'm so blessed. I have my daughters, my granddaughter, my good friends, my sister. I have to look at what I do have, the fact that I'm still here. If you're newly diagnosed with ALS, it is a big, ugly beast, and there's no guarantee for how long you'll be able to talk, how long you'll be able to move, how long you'll be able to do anything. It's overwhelming, but you gotta find a piece of you and find what matters to you and what you can do, and not focus on what you can't do. Yeah, you should make sure you have all your arrangements, advanced directives, durable power of attorney here in the United States, medical power of attorney here in the United States, a will, contact your lawyer. Sometimes you can do things online, though really if you're doing end-of-life stuff, you should probably have a consult with attorneys. The ALS clinics usually have a attorney that will help you through that. I'm thankful that I have a good attorney. Doing that, it's like making what time you have matter. And even if you don't have it, you have grief, you got diagnosed with another disease. Life can be altered, but you still have life and it's precious. So it's the here and now, enjoying it. It's like we spend so much time miserable, we forget that we can enjoy some things. Even if, you think about it, I'm in the United States, I'm not in a war. The poor people in Ukraine, the poor people in Palestine and in Israel. May they all find peace and happiness and safety. There's real, the people that are suffering in South America. There's, in Africa, there's in the Sudan. There's a lot of stuff happening in the world. It's like if you are dealing with a lot of stuff, I would recommend managing your intake to it, because I can't watch national news. I'm in the United States. There's like more propaganda that's out to divide people. I do a lot of stuff. I read, take my intake. Okay. I always watch the local news. One time, I think I had moved and I was waiting for AT&T to come set up cable. And I didn't really watch the news. I was going around. I was working in the hospital. There was a man that escaped jail in a different part of Texas, and I probably crossed him going to the ER to start an IV and that, because he was in that area, in the hospital on that floor. It's like, how creepy is that? I could have passed him and, you know, a murderer. He was an escaped murderer. So since then, I have always watched the local news. Stay abreast. But you gotta manage what you're intaking. You know, that is important because you can get overwhelmed. You know, it's overwhelming to have ALS. It's overwhelming to just be alive right now in some ways. So just take care of yourself, you know, self-compassion. And what is self-compassion? It's getting sleep. It's doing exercise if you can exercise. It's spending time with people you love, doing things you love, managing your health, you know, just taking care of yourself, you know. And that's the one thing you can do when you're in this whole world of all this stuff happening, of a disease, of, you know, learning how to take care of yourself. It changes, you know, surfing with ALS, with all the changes of ALS. It is something that's very difficult and very painful. I mean, that's one thing that annoys me. You know, you have all these people, you know, it's in the United States, there's been so many people addicted. And right now there's a lot of people that are dying from fentanyl and all that stuff. And it's just sad. So pain is not treated the same way. I mean, I have large doses of gabapentin they ordered me for the spasticity. And it always kind of makes me dull. It's like, you know, kind of in that other thing. It's like, well, I don't have other pain relief, so it's just hard. You know, they worry about respiratory rates and such, and, you know, suppression of respirations, but pain needs to be treated better. And if you're having emotional pain, you can get help. Don't suffer. Talk to someone. Get the professional help if you need it. There are ways, if you can't afford it, you can look for sliding scales. You can look for things you can talk. If you have ALS, talk to your social worker at the clinic. And if you do have ALS, try to get into an ALS clinic. I know that around the world, MND, and I can't remember exactly, it's a different form of ALS or Lou Gehrig's. United States, we call it Lou Gehrig's disease. But is it also something different in France? The clinics not only help you with getting into potential drug trials, also provide things like, you know, social workers. It's an all-in-one visit instead of going to place for respiratory care, for physical therapy, for occupational therapy, all that. It's really helpful to get into an ALS clinic. I'm thankful I got into one because when I first got diagnosed with the insurance I had from the hospital I worked at, I had to go to different places to get the care. And that was kind of hard. And as mobility changes, it's much nicer to be an all-in-one thing. So that's my message. Be kind. Find something that brings you calm in your center, because no matter what, you still have that ability to find the calm. Manage your expectations. We all have to do that. You know, I try not to have too many expectations. I try to just be present and have hope. What they say is that movie Hope Floats. No, it's well, have a wonderful Thanksgiving or whatever holiday's coming wherever you are. Please find the beauty in the day and take care of yourselves. I appreciate you, and have a wonderful Thanksgiving or whatever holiday. And I'll see you guys soon. Bye.